your fear. Granny and cuddles are always here. Fun with Granny, oh let's go. Everything preschool, here we grow. A, B, C's and 1, 2, 3's. Learning's easy as the breeze. Granny's got a hat full of tricks today. Cuddles a cat, she leads the way. We're counting stars, we're jumping high. Paint the sun, let's touch the sky. Fun with Granny, oh let's go. Everything preschool, here we grow. A, B, C's and 1, 2, 3's. Learning's easy as the breeze. We're tying shoes, we're learning to share. Shapes and colors, they're everywhere. Hop like a bunny, roar like a bear. Cuddles purrs with a little flair. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. Every day's a brand new treat. Granny's laugh, the sweetest sound, with cuddles spinning all around. Fun with Granny, oh let's go. Everything preschool, here we grow. A, B, C's and 1, 2, 3's. Learning's easy as the breeze. Granny,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fun with Granny. I kind of got my computer messed up a little bit. There we go. Let me adjust it. How is everybody doing today? I know that it is a holiday, Labor Day, September 1st, but I did want to come on. I want to get in the habit of being here live on Mondays about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Hopefully, the youngsters will all be down for their naps, and then the parents, grandparents, and caregivers and I can have a little chat. And hopefully, I can share some tips and interesting information with you about raising preschoolers and getting them ready to go to school. So, today I am just going to be talking a little bit about things that might be helpful to new parents or some of us grandparents. Things have changed. You don't just send the kids outside to play by themselves anymore. So there are a lot of things that, we're doing. So, some tips for parents with preschool children. Parenting preschoolers can be both a delightful experience and a challenging journey. As children grow and develop, parents play a vital role in nurturing their curiosity, learning, and social skills. Here are some helpful tips to help guide you through this exciting phase. Encourage a love for learning. Read together. Read together every day. It's a crucial part of early childhood development. Spending time reading books together every day will strengthen your bond with your child as well as help them learn. Choose stories that capture their imagination and introduce new vocabulary. Play based learning incorporates learning with playing. This is something that I did with my granddaughter because she loves to play. Use toys, puzzles, and games that encourage problem solving and creativity. You can foster independence by allowing them to do certain simple chores that are age appropriate, like tidying up their toys or setting the table. This helps build responsibility and confidence. Decision making allows them to make simple choices, such as selecting their clothes or picking a snack. This fosters independence and decision making skills, which are both so important when they're away at school without their parent or grandparent or caregiver there with them to help them make those kind of choices. We also want to promote social skills by having play dates. If you have other children in your family or neighborhood that you can arrange regular play dates with, this is a great way for kids to start learning how to not only share and cooperate, but also how to communicate with other kids. Role playing engages activities that teach empathy and understanding of different perspectives. Establishing routines with a consistent schedule also gives the children a sense of security and stability. Bedtime rituals create calming times for them to help them unwind and ensure that they get enough sleep. I don't know why my camera all of a sudden got blurry on me, but it did. There we go. That's one thing, since my granddaughter has started pre-K and has to get up so much earlier than she's used to. When bedtime comes around, she's ready to sleep. You want to encourage them to have healthy habits, such as balanced diets, introduce a variety of healthy foods, and let them be involved in the meal preparation as well. Once they get to school, unless you pack their snacks and their breakfast and lunch, they will be eating food from the school. And it will no doubt be nutritious food, and it may be foods they've never seen before. My granddaughter will say, when you ask her, "What did you have for lunch today?" She'll say, "I had some stuff." She doesn't know what it's called, but she ate some of it. Okay. Ensure that they have plenty of physical activity each day. Outdoor play, dancing, or a simple game of tag can be great. Support their emotional development by teaching them to identify and express their emotions. Use books and stories to discuss feelings and appropriate ways to express them. Their feelings are so big and they don't know how to express them. So it's okay for them to be angry or upset or scared. And it's our job as the parent and the caregivers to explain to them why they're feeling the way they're feeling, or possibly why, and how to help them deal with those feelings and emotions. You want to give positive reinforcement, encouraging their good behavior and building their self-esteem. You never want to be negative. So no matter the situation, even if it's, chaotic and you're about to pull your hair out, you don't want to yell and you don't want to be negative. You want to find a positive. Whether you have to say, "Boy, that was very creative of you. Now go sit down while I clean up this mess," or something like that. But you don't want to be negative because it does damage their precious little self-esteem. You want to learn how to be an active listener and listen to their thoughts and their feelings without interruption. This builds trust and communication skills. And also, they feel valued because they have something important to say and you are listening. So that makes it, even better for them. When you give them an instruction, make sure you give them a clear, simple instruction. Don't talk for 10 minutes and expect them to remember what it was you wanted them to do. So break down your instructions into short, simple requests. Let them do the request, and then if you need to talk about how they could have done a better job or anything like that. Do that afterwards. Don't spend a lot of time with the explanation before they're going to do the task, because they have short little memories. They can't remember big, long tasks. Adapt to change. Ugh. Be prepared to adapt your expectations as your child grows and changes. Each child develops at their own pace. Patience and understanding is very practical and needed during this challenging process. When they get to school, they don't have control over when they eat, when they learn, when they take a nap, when they get to play. All of that is very structured in their preschool day. And so that was one thing that my granddaughter did have trouble with. So a couple months before school started, I started doing it at home with her, basically saying, we will eat at a certain time. We will take a nap at a certain time. That way, not only could she look at the clock and be able to tell when I would say, when the little hand is here and the big hand is here, and it says this is, that's going to be time to eat. And yes, she would still ask for snacks at other times. And yes, she did not eat all of her food when I wanted her to. But it did help her get in the habit of having to do things other than when she wanted to. And once she did start pre-K, it was an adjustment period. But now I think we're 3 weeks into school, and the routine doesn't phase her at all. She knows the routine, and she actually takes comfort in knowing what comes next. So parenting a preschooler is a rewarding experience that lays the foundation for their future growth. By implementing these tips, you can nurture a well-rounded, happy, and confident child. So that's the tips that I have for us today. I saw a couple people have popped in and popped out, which is very okay and fine. This will be available on a replay. I'm going to keep the live streams to about 30 minutes so that they are easy enough for people to watch on the replay. Some of the things I'm working on are making videos for the kids to watch on the alphabet, numbers and counting, shapes, colors, the weather, the days of the week, the months of the year, a lot of those kind of things, animal names, animal sounds. I also have a lot of children's books, and I will be reading a lot of children's books on this channel. Now, I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to be able to show the pictures while I'm reading. But I do have a tripod, and I do have a webcam that I can move, and so I will possibly be able to set that up. But I'll be working on that this next coming week and try to get some stories out. I hope that our community here will grow, that we will attract other like-minded parents, grandparents, and caregivers who are dealing with this challenging job of raising toddlers and preschoolers and the daunting task of preparing them to go to school. My daughter, being a school teacher, she opted for me to do the preschool instead of sending my granddaughter to a preschool or a daycare environment. And so that put all the burden on me to make sure that I taught her everything she would need to know. I had the list, and I will share that on this channel, all the things they expect a child to know before preschool and what they expect before they go to pre-K or kindergarten. Now, I realize some states don't do what we call pre-K, which is when the child is 4 years old, and it is the year before kindergarten. They don't start kindergarten here in the state of Georgia until they are 5. The law says in the state of Georgia that they do not have to attend school until they are 6 years old and in the first grade. So if you live in the state of Georgia and you choose to homeschool or, work with your child at home, you really don't have to send them to the pre-K or the kindergarten. But once they get in first grade, they will be with other kids that most likely had pre-K and kindergarten who already have learned a lot of the social skills and social cues, and your child may be uncomfortable in that situation. So that's something to consider. It's very, very important for children to be around other children. Now, yes, they can pick up bad habits. And yes, they will get sicker and they will have more colds and more flu bugs and things like that when they are around other children. However, they need to develop a healthy immune system. And if they're relatively healthy by engaging with other children, they will just do that. It will build their immune system. My granddaughter right now has her first cold. We're going through a change of seasons here, so it could be allergies, but I suspect it's because of her being at the school now with all the other children. So, another thing that Georgia requires, if you're going to send a child to pre-K and kindergarten, they must be completely potty trained. And they must be able to use the restroom completely by themselves. They don't help them put their clothing back on. They don't help them wipe. They don't help them wash their hands. All of that has to be independently done by the child. So I suggest starting early at home with all of that. Now, while you're potty training them, of course, you're right there with them every step of the way and you're going to help them. But teach them proper, good hygiene. And there they will learn. And as they're able to do more, they will be able to take those duties on for themselves. And it does give them a very strong sense of accomplishment when they can do it by themselves. So work on that. That's probably one of the biggest things you need to work on. Listening is another great skill that most preschoolers, toddlers especially, but most preschoolers, and I'm saying, 3 or 4-year-olds, they listen, they hear what they want to hear, and then they do what they want to do anyway. My granddaughter just the other day was in the restroom with me, and I had a necklace hanging on a hook, and she said, I don't know why my camera's doing this. She said, I want to play with that black necklace. And I said, no, not right now, honey. And she proceeded to get the necklace off the hook and take it to play with it. And I said, just a minute. I think Granny said no, so we need to put it back. And she gave it back to me and I hung it back up. And then I said to her, you didn't listen to what Granny said because Granny said no. Yes, you asked and said you wanted to play with it, but Granny's answer was no. You have to listen and hear the answer. And then she understood, and then it was okay. So little things like that, we think that they're just not behaving, that they're not doing what we ask them to do or listening and doing what we say, but it's because their sense of, but I want to do it anyway, is so strong at that age. And so we have to teach them that you don't always get to do what you want to do, and that sometimes you have to follow directions and follow instructions. Because believe me, when they get to school, they don't play. The teachers do not play when it comes to following directions. I believe there are 20 children in the class. There are 2 teachers. So that's 10 children per teacher. Now think about it. If you're at home with 1 or 2 children, just imagine having 10. And it's sometimes 20 when the other teacher is busy or whatever. They need to listen, and they need to be able to understand simple commands and realize that if they're asked to do something, it's for a very good reason. Therefore, you cannot ask them to do things that are ridiculous, because then that's not going to encourage them to do what you ask them to do. Hello, Body Illusion. How are you? Thank you for joining. Um, so that's one thing, they have to do. They have to pay attention and do what they're asked to do. Last weekend, my granddaughter said to me, "Granny, hide your hands." And I said, "What? Do what with my hands?" And she said, "Hide your hands." I said, "Well, where do I put them? What do I do?" She said, "You put them in your pockets, or you put them behind your back." And I said, "Well, why would I want to do that?" And she said, "Because we're going to line up. And when we line up, we have to hide our hands." And I said, "Oh, okay, I get it. Okay." So I put my hands behind my back. And then she said, "Put a bubble in your mouth." I said, "A bubble in my mouth?" And she said, "That's how we be quiet when we're walking in the hallway at school. We pretend we have a bubble in our mouth and we don't want to let it loose. And that way they stay quiet." So that was very interesting to me, um, that, uh, you know, that's how they get them to do it. But whatever works. And I'm sure that these teachers have been at it plenty long enough for them to know, what works and what doesn't work. And that brings me to another good point. They will teach them so many different little songs and little activities to do and things like that, that you'll be amazed, and you'll find yourself wondering, okay, what does that mean, and what are they talking about, and what are they doing? But it all leads to them being able to learn and remember, um, things that they're being exposed to during the day at school. So listen to them, let them. I'm trying to see, why am I not finding the live stream? Well, well, well. I wanted to go into the live stream so I could make you a moderator, Body Illusion, but for some reason, okay, we're there. There we go. I didn't hit the right button. Okay, good. Now I'm here. Okay, add as moderator. There, we got you. I love the way they make games out of these things, makes them understand and remember these little things. Exactly. And that is what is so fun, because I don't know what these games are. And so as she's learning them and she's coming home to me and, telling me these things, it's just exciting for me to know that she is learning. And that was one of my biggest concerns, was I preparing her to be able to learn new things? Yes, I knew she could learn the things that I did in repetition and over and over and over. I think, Body Illusion, we'll have to call them kitty cat paws over here, because we have Cuddles the cat. So we might have, they might be cuddle paws instead of butterfly wings. I'm not sure. We'll see how this channel does. If it gets off the ground and we have to have more moderators and things like that, then I'll think of what to call them. But anyway, we are reaching our time here. I do want to try to keep it to 30 minutes. I do have two other channels. One is Chloe the Chewini and also Kaleidoscope of Happiness. Kaleidoscope of Happiness is family friendly. However, it is mostly for adults. We do have some tough topics that we talk about at times, but I usually put up a trigger warning if we do. And over on Chloe the Chewini, it is 100% family friendly because Chloe is my emotional support dog named, and she is a Chewini, which is a Dachshund and a Chihuahua, and she just loves me and is my emotional support. I always say she's my best friend because I can tell her anything and she knows all my secrets, but she doesn't tell anyone, of course, because she's a dog. So over here, let me take myself down right quick so you can see the thumbnail or the
It's time to play. Cuddles, pounces, hooray, hooray. School is near, but don't you fear. Granny and Cuddles are